What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of Seahawks Now. And guys, it's a good day to be a Seahawks fan. Guys, it is the first Victory Monday of the season. That's right. Go Seahawks. They get the win yesterday over the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 31-17. Seattle is officially in the win column. They move to 1-1. Pittsburgh moves to 1-1. And just a fun little note, the Seahawks are now the first team, so far the only team, to have wins over Aaron Rodgers as a Jet, as a Steeler, and as a Packer. Yeah, so congratulations to the Seahawks. It feels like we've always played pretty well against Aaron Rodgers. Something about maybe our defense, I don't know. But Aaron Rodgers has not been very good against us in his career. And once again, he struggled. Aaron Rodgers did not look like he did against the Jets. Against the Jets, Aaron Rodgers looked like the MVP version of himself. And I was kind of scared that he was going to do that to our defense as well. But we actually held him. We intercepted him twice. The defense was incredible yesterday. What they were able to do, the disruption they were able to make. They held the Steelers, obviously, to 17 points. But more impressive, they held the Steelers to only 3 points in the entire second half. So the defense pitched a shutout third quarter and then just allows one field goal in the fourth quarter. It was an impressive win. Sam Darnold, he is starting to come alive as a Seahawk. We're going to talk about that. But first, I just want to go over the stat sheet and kind of look at what everybody did for the Seattle Seahawks. So yeah, Sam Darnold going 22 for 33, so a 66% completion percentage. He threw for 295 yards. He did throw 2 interceptions, but he also threw 2 touchdowns. This is kind of a mid-game for Sam Darnold, and that's the interesting factor here is that I don't know if I was expecting a mid version of Sam Darnold. I don't know if I really even knew what that would mean, just because we've seen we've seen Darnold play really well. We've also seen Darnold play really poorly. We haven't really seen the middle ground of Darnold yet. This kind of average to slightly above average quarterback. But that's kind of what he's looked like so far through 2 games. He's just looked kind of mid. He's looked fine. This is not the Jets version of Sam Darnold. This is not the Panthers version of Sam Darnold. He's a much more competent player now than he was on those teams. But this is also not Minnesota Vikings Sam Darnold, right? Last year, Darnold, right out of the gate, you could tell something was different. He was throwing 4 touchdowns almost every game. This year, I can tell we're not getting 4 touchdowns Sam Darnold, but we're getting solid, productive Sam Darnold, and that's good. Meanwhile, on the ground, Kenneth Walker III, he proved the haters wrong. 13 carries, 105 yards, and a touchdown, goes for 8.1 yards per attempt. Meanwhile, Zach Charbonnet, he kind of had a rough one, only 10 yards on 15 carries. So you guys got what you wanted, right? If you were one of the fans who wanted Zach Charbonnet to be the featured lead running back, you got what you wanted. Congratulations. Charbonnet did get the majority of carries. He got 15 of the 29 ground attempts. Kenneth Walker gets 13, and A.J. Barner gets 1 rushing attempt. But despite getting the majority of rushing attempts, Zach Charbonnet only 10 yards. He averaged 0.7 yards per attempt. Not a great day on the ground for Zach Charbonnet. Receiving-wise, Jackson Smith-Njigba, another good game. 8 receptions for 103 yards. By the way, right now, guys, if you're wondering, JSN is number 2 on the in the entire NFL. Number 2 in receiving yards and number 2 in receptions, with 17 of them through the first 2 weeks. So that's something to keep an eye on. JSN, he is actually breaking out in a real way for this team. Meanwhile, Cooper Kupp, he has his first signature moment as a Seahawk. He goes for 7 receptions, 90 yards. 12.9 yards per reception. He had a nice game as well. He has his first couple of just good receptions, and you're seeing him do what he did with the Rams, right? Just cutting, slicing, and dicing across midfield. That's kind of what he did in Los Angeles, and that's what he did yesterday for the Seahawks as well. Torrey Horton, congratulations to the rookie. 2 receptions for 32 yards and his first career NFL touchdown. So Torrey Horton getting his first reception as a Seahawk and his first touchdown as a Seahawk in this one against Pittsburgh. Elijah Arroyo also goes 2 receptions for 31 yards. A.J. Barner, the other tight end, 2 receptions for 26 yards and his first touchdown of the season. and Kenneth Walker also catches a pass for 13 yards. So yeah, I was impressed. We saw some work with the tight ends, Barner and Arroyo both getting a couple of receptions. It's going to be interesting to see which one of them kind of takes the lead by the end of the season. If either of our tight ends really breaks out, Torrey Horton, good to see him get on the board with his first touchdown of the year. And he's another one who, if Torrey Horton can break out this year, I think this could be a really good team. We'll have to see how he does, how he progresses. He obviously was a non-factor in week 1, but in week 2, he looked pretty good. Defensively, how about Ernest Jones, man? 8 tackles, 2 assists. He leads the team in tackles. Tyrese Knight, 5 tackles and 3 assists. Those two were impressive as always. Jaron Reed gets on the board with a sack and 3 tackles. Byron Murphy with 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles, 3 assists for him. And Leonard Williams gets that other half of a sack. He goes for 2 tackles and 2 assists. In the end, Seahawks do finish with 3 sacks against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. So yeah, a solid performance, better than week 1 again when they only got to Brock Purdy once. Yeah, they get 3 sacks this time. And then again, those 2 interceptions, Kobe Bryant and Darion Kendrick. Kobe Bryant with 2 tackles, 2 assists, and the pick. The young safety continuing to prove why he deserves to stick around with the team. What a diamond in the rough he was. Honestly, that might be one of John Schneider's best recent draft picks. And then Darion Kendrick, the cornerback, who I don't think anybody really had this guy on his radar. Did we? I mean, he barely even played against San Francisco. And now Darion Kendrick, the 25-year-old who didn't even play last season in 2024, he did not play. He gets on the board with his 2nd career interception, his first as a Seattle Seahawks. So congratulations to him. Yeah, a good all-around game. Things looked good for the Seahawks, especially in that second half. We also get this special team score. Congratulations to George Holani. George Holani scoring his first career touchdown, getting on the board with a special team score. Steelers just made a bonehead mistake. Their kick returner just didn't take the ball. I mean, the ball was kicked to him, and instead of returning it, he let the ball just sit in the end zone. And obviously, the new rules are that if the ball's in the end zone, you have to touch it for it to count as a fullback. Caleb Johnson should have known that. He didn't. The Seahawks, George Holani jumped on it, scores a touchdown. Meanwhile, Holani, from a kick return perspective, looked pretty good. 5 returns, 133 yards, and 0 touchdowns in his first game as the Seahawks kick returner. Meanwhile, Torrey Horton, 2 returns for the punt with 30 yards. Jason Myers did miss a kick. He goes 1 for 2, 50% rate there. But he made a 54-yarder, so, that's a good one. And Michael Dixon, 4 punts for an average of 43.8 yards. All right, that is the stats. Let's talk about who do I think is the player of the game, who shined brightest in the win against the Steelers. I think I have to go with Kenneth Walker. I mean, he really set the tone on the ground. The way he was able to pound through the Steelers defense, averaging 8.1 yards per carry is huge. He gets his first touchdown of the season, and the 105 yards. I mean, Kenneth Walker, I think he really showed up, and I think he did silence his doubters. I think there was a lot of doubt after last season of whether or not we were going to see a prime Kenneth Walker again. There were calls saying, oh yeah, Charbonnet should be the lead back. Charbonnet should be the starting back. This is Charbonnet's job now. And I was always kind of pushing back on that, saying, look, why don't we wait and see just what K9 can do before we just pronounce that Charbonnet is the guy now. And I think that, honestly, I think Kenneth Walker, it's not that Charbonnet is not good. I do think Charbonnet is good. I think he had a bad game. I still think Kenneth Walker is your starting running back. After yesterday, I think that proves it. So, player of the game for yesterday is Kenneth Walker. Let's talk about the season outlook, right? Where does the season go from here? First win is in the books. You're 1-1. You're in the win column. You're still last place in your division because all 3 of the other teams in your division won. But where do the Seahawks go from here? Well, practically speaking, the Seahawks, obviously their next game is back at home against the Saints. That should be an easy win. I hate to call out the Saints like this. We'll talk about this more throughout the week, but New Orleans, I don't think they're a very good team. And they were competitive against the Niners and the Cardinals, but they should not beat you. So the Seattle Seahawks should win another game. But moving forward, I mean, you're starting to see this is what the Seahawks are going to do. They're going to dominate you on defense. They're going to play really good on special teams. They're going to have their defense and special teams really buttoned up. They're not going to make mistakes there. And then the offense needs to do enough, right? If the running game can get around about 80 to 100 rushing yards a game, and if Sam Darnold doesn't just completely implode, if he can do enough and throw maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns, you're going to see a lot of wins from this team, because they don't need Sam Darnold to be the guy that he was in Minnesota. They just need him to be better than the guy he was on the Jets, and so far he has been. So I think this is still a team. I mean, I said in the preseason I thought we win 8, maybe 9, maybe 10 games, and I still feel that way. And I think, obviously 8 wins probably doesn't get you to the playoffs. I think 9 wins might get you there. I think 10 wins definitely gets you there. So I think we're definitely in the mix right now, and that's where you want to be. At the end of the day, that's where you want to be. Especially with such a new team, such a young team. Being in the mix is all you can ask for, and I think once again the Seahawks are in the mix. They've shown it. We are clearly not one of the worst teams in the league, so I'm excited. I'm happy to. And with that being said, though, we're gonna wrap this video up for today. So as always, leave a like, leave a comment down below. Let's talk some Seahawks down in the comments. I want to talk Seahawks with you. And until next time, as always, go Seahawks.